There's a church deep in the heart of Alabama where the hymns still seem to hang in the dust. A place built for salvation, but divided by chains. Here, the walls remember voices that prayed for heaven and others who prayed for freedom. Tonight, we walk where time stood still. This is the story of the Antebellum Church of Dallas County, a sanctuary that reveals how even faith can fracture under the weight of history. Mid-19th century Alabama. The soil was rich, the air heavy with cotton and prayer. In 1852, a group of wealthy planters gathered on a hill near the Alabama River to build a church, a Greek revival masterpiece. White columns rose toward the sky, echoing the temples of Athens. The builders believed it reflected divine order. Perfect symmetry, perfect beauty. But beneath that symmetry was a different kind of order, one written in blood and bondage. The congregation was divided even in worship. At the back, a narrow wooden staircase led to the slave gallery, a balcony where enslaved men and women could attend service, unseen, unheard, yet always watching. They sang softly to themselves, hymns of sorrow disguised as faith. Sunday mornings shimmered with heat. Horses waited outside under oak trees. The bell rang across the valley, calling the faithful to worship. Women in white dresses, men in dark coats, and behind them the quiet footsteps of those who had built the very pews they were forbidden to sit in. The preacher spoke of salvation, but never of justice. He read from the book of Exodus, yet skipped the verses about deliverance. The congregation nodded, secure in their righteousness. And above them, in the dim wooden gallery, the enslaved repeated the same words, but gave them different meaning. Their prayers weren't for heaven after death. They were for a life they might one day touch. And so the church became a mirror, one side reflecting grace, the other endurance. Then came the storm. When the Civil War broke out, the men who built this church marched away, convinced God stood with them. Many never returned. By 1865, the fields lay silent. The sermons stopped. The bell hung motionless, its tongue rusting in place. The freed families gathered near the river, building their own humble chapels made of pine, sweat, and hope. The old church, once filled with polished shoes and whispered prayers, began to decay. Rain found its way through the ceiling. Ivy crept across the altar. And yet, the structure stood, defiant against time. The same walls that once divided still held the memory of every song, every sermon, every silent tear. Today, only the wind worships here. The air smells of cedar and dust. Light drifts through broken shutters like stained glass made of time itself. If you listen, really listen, you might hear a faint echo, the creak of a pew, the echo of a hymn no one remembers. Every scar of paint, every splintered bench tells a story of contradiction, of faith that comforted some while caging others. It's strange, isn't it? How beauty and injustice can share the same foundation stones. The Antebellum Church of Dallas County stands as more than a ruin. It's a lesson in stone and silence, that worship can both wound and heal, that the same roof once sheltered both the oppressor and the oppressed. When I stand in that empty hall, I don't hear ghosts. I hear a kind of reconciliation, the slow forgiveness that time itself offers. Faith endures, even when the walls crumble, even when the songs are forgotten. Subscribe before the next forgotten story opens.